With influencers, as a Black influencer, it was one brand that hired me, and it was a really big brand. So I'm like, wow, and they were paying me nothing. But I'm like, it's a big brand, it's awesome. So I'm in this little influencers chat group, and I looked through and saw that they were paying this white female influencer quadruple what they were offering me. She wasn't even verified, didn't have nearly as many followers, and I was just like, wow. So that really just taught me to demand my worth. And so as I spoke with my agents, they're like, you don't have to, don't take these little nickels and pennies, don't take these little couple $100, know your worth. It's a demand. Yes, they're trying to get Black faces to promote their brand, but there's still an unfairness with it when they're not paying them anything. Like nothing compared to the thousands that a counterpart, a Caucasian female influencer would get. So it's awesome that Black women are in demand, but it's also still not fair.
So the question is this: how do thought leaders, school dropouts, former and current students find out what's next after they do or don't cross that stage? If you want to know the secrets to starting the career or business of your dreams, getting paid whatever you desire, and discovering what you do the best with the least amount of effort, then this is the right podcast for you. I'm Shawn Anthony, and this is School's Over. Now what? The podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. And I'm your host, Shawn Anthony. And I'm excited, guys. You're back here again. You could have clicked any podcast in the world. And as my guy Jay-Z says, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. And this podcast has completely blown up. And it's just completely an honor to have that happen here. There's over 700,000 podcasts, and we have your support and we have your attention. But let me tell you right now, real quickly, what this show is all about. Each and every single week, you're going to get an inspiring person or a message that's truly going to help you get to that next level in your life, whether you're an entrepreneur or perhaps maybe you're in the career field and you're just trying to climb the ladder in business. We are here for you. And everybody that has been on this podcast, most importantly, have answered the question we have all asked ourselves at some point in our life, fam. And that is, school's over. Now what, right? What will we do next? And outside of the podcast, we just announced something big. I'm not sure if you guys follow me at Shawn R. Anthony _. If you're not, you're missing out. We just launched the book club. Each and every single Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm meeting with hundreds of entrepreneurs online via Zoom, high definition quality, going over some of the greatest books of all time, giving you all the gems of wisdom you need. And there's also a lot of free chat and engagement happening. Be sure to check that out. We'll have the link below. Last week, we did Atomic Habits, and this Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do 50 cents, hustle harder, hustle smarter. You do not want to miss out on the free book club, and be sure to check out that link in the show notes. And on that note, let's kick this thing off with the review of the week. And it comes from Brittany Mayti, and they wrote, "This is a kick-ass podcast with great insight, packed full of the things I wish I would have learned earlier in life. Definitely something you don't want to miss. Bowler." 5-star rating. Yo, Brennan Wade, I appreciate you for leaving that review. And guys, if you ever have gained anything from this show, any insight, any wisdom, if anybody has ever inspired you, do us a favor. This is the only thing that we ask, fam. Scroll to the bottom of iTunes right now, click that 5-star rating, and leave your review. It has helped us do tremendous things. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Hey, what's up, fam? Building a podcast has been one of the most amazing things I've ever done. It's put me in rooms I could not even believe. But here's the crazy thing. It could be one of the easiest things for you to do. And right now, I want you to have access and learning how you can have your message spread and reach multiple people across the globe. For right now, you can download my free ebook, The Podcast Starter Kit, giving you all the tools you need to start, plan, launch, and grow your podcast today. Just check out the Podcast Starter Kit by clicking the link and downloading your free ebook in the show notes below. This episode is brought to you by patreon.com/schoolsover now what. For as low as $5, you can help us reach more people, tour schools, and even impact communities. You also get exclusive content that nobody else can see and be able to go possibly one-on-one with some of our most amazing guests. Visit patreon.com/schoolsover.nowwhat and become a Patreon today. All right, let's get into the reason you click that button. Today's guest is none other than Brittany Mayti. You know what's crazy about this is that right now in the world, there is this thing happening where it's cool to want to bring on Black people, Black artists, Black creators, Black actors. And we're going to sit down with somebody who is an actor, content creator, producer, and an incredible marketer. And this is an episode you are definitely going to enjoy. So grab your pencil, grab your paper, whatever that is for you. Sit back and take notes. Episode 125 with Brittany Mayti. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on a podcast with the one and only Brittany Mayti. She's an actor, producer, and content creator, and I'm excited to have her on the show today. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. You know, every time we do a podcast with anybody, I know people start to grab their phones. They start searching people up on social media. They want to know your origin story. Take us back, to the girl growing up. Where are you from?
Well, how long do we have? No. So it all started on a nice sunny day in August. No, I'm from, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Just to summarize it up, I was actually kind of shy when I was younger, but I remember my first school production and then talent show where my family saw that I just lit up on the stage. Like, what? I was kind of shy in person, but then being on stage gave me a whole different thing. And I wasn't shy. I came out of my shell. So at 11, I was in my first large theatrical production at the Cleveland Playhouse Theater. And that instant gratification from just hearing the audience and just being up there, being able to be outside of myself, my normal shy self, really is what planted the seed for me wanting to be an entertainer, an actress specifically.
Wow.
So I wanted to go to LA immediately. But my mom, back then we didn't have like the internet like that. So I was looking in the phone books, trying to be on Nickelodeon, trying to be on Disney. I just didn't know how to do it. And my mom didn't know how. So after high school, I'm like, I'm going straight to LA. She wasn't having that. But in high school, I did a program called DECA, which was a marketing program. And the winners of this marketing competition were able to go compete nationally in California. So I thought I was going to get discovered. So I only joined this program, marketing, to go to California and compete because I thought I was going to get discovered. But it also planted another passion in me, marketing. And what I learned is marketing myself as an actress back then, I didn't know what really helped me in my career and other avenues of income, other streams of income. So anyway, I did win state. I did go to LA. While we were there, my teacher knew too that I wanted to act. While we were there, we stumbled on the set of Big Mama's House 2.
Oh, wow.
So I saw it and I was like, oh, this is different from theater. There, we saw Martin, not knowing later I would actually meet and become friends with Martin. So I'm like, it was just a dream come true being on the set. And I was asking all these questions. I was talking to the extras. So my mom made me go to college. I majored in marketing. Soon as I graduated, straight to LA. So that's all history from there.
Yo, that's crazy. That's a crazy story because you had this mindset. Sounds like, hey, look, I want to get there. And somehow you get there, right? Like, I think it's really about having a vision of where you see yourself going and really following that vision. You mentioned something about, having your mom, being, a single mom and working hard to get you where you need it to be. What is like the best, or what you say is the biggest lesson, that your mom ever taught you during all of those things?
It's just not giving up. My mom, a lot of her dreams were deferred. She had me at 15, but she still went to school. She got her PhD. Her and my parents actually remarried when I was 14 to each other. They're divorced now, but yeah, long story short. So it was just persistence and not giving up and just seeing all the sacrifices she made for me to have a better life. I didn't want her not living her dreams to go in vain. So still to this day, I keep pushing and knowing that the only people who don't make it are the people who quit. So just keep living your life, living your dreams, never giving up. It's going to eventually happen.
Oh, that's real. You know, what's also cool about your story when you break it down is that at a young age, you noticed what your gift was, right? I think you said like 11 years old. Like, how important is it, you think, for people right now, you know, that's listening to this podcast to recognize some of the things they were very good at early on in their life?
You know, I really don't like the pressure too that people put on kids. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? Because I didn't foresee marketing coming as a part. You know, that wasn't my dream. I want to be a marketer. I want to be a content creator. I want to be a producer. So along your journey to things when you're younger that you feel like you're good at comes other gifts, you know, comes like, so I know when people say, don't have your plan B be the investment for your plan A. I kind of live by that. So marketing that was my plan B. Acting was my plan A. And my mom was like, go to school, get your degree, so you can have money, so you don't have to wait tables, no offense to that, when you go to LA, so that you can fund your dream. So I just want to say to children or, you know, young people listening, you don't have to like know everything that you want to do in high school or at the age of 11, but do notice your gifts, expound upon those, and other little gifts can come along the way that you can find out that you're good at that can lead you to that main thing.
Oh, that's facts. I mean, there's always going to be other signs, right? Like when you went out to LA, right? So you get to LA, you're finally there. What was one of those signs for you where you're like, you know what? Not only can I do this, but I can do this for a living and be good at it.
The biggest thing was getting to LA. A lot of people from where I was from have never left the city. Even the person that I competed with that we won state and went nationally, he'd never been on an airplane. So it was probably my third time in the airplane. So that's what I want to do too on the side, like with young kids, like getting them out, knowing that you can actually make it to California. I have some friends who still have never left the city of Cleveland. They don't see that. So for me, leaving, trying to be an inspiration to my younger siblings, my cousins, my family, like all you have to do is get out there. It's possible. So me getting on that plane, getting out there, seeing people on set just like me, average people working as background extras, I'm like, I could do this.
That's real. That's all it takes sometimes is realizing, hey, you know, this is what a different piece of life looks like, right? Putting people in a different, you know, scenery can change everything for somebody, right? So I want to ask you the question that I know somebody's thinking right now. There is an intense ask of the Black woman and having Black women be a part of events or having them host things or having, you know, them in movies, especially with so much racism going on right now. How important, you know, has, you know, it been for you seeing what's happening in the world, but also noticing that there's a call for more women like Brittany, to be a part of what they're doing?
Well, I mean, it's a blessing, but it's also a curse because it's sad. Like even with Black content creators, as I create content for social media, as soon as everything went on, where everyone's like, oh gosh, we have to amplify our Black voices because we don't have Black creators. It's awesome, but it's also sad. Like, wow, you guys are just doing this now. I mean, it's 2020, but of course you have to, you know, for me, I rode the wave. Like with influencers, as a Black influencer, it was one brand that hired me, and it was a really big brand. So I'm like, wow, and they were paying me nothing, but I'm like, it's a big brand. It's awesome. So I'm in this little influencers chat group, and I looked through and saw that they were paying this white female influencer quadruple what they were offering me. She wasn't even verified, didn't have nearly as many followers. And I was just like, wow. So that really just taught me to demand my worth. And so as I spoke with my agents, they're like, you don't have to, you know, don't take these little nickels and pennies. Don't take these little couple $100. Know your worth. It's a demand. Yes, they're trying to get Black faces to promote their brand, but there's still an unfairness with it where they're not paying them anything. Like nothing compared to the thousands that a counterpart, you know, a Caucasian female influencer would get. So it's awesome that Black women are in demand, but it's also still not fair.
Hey guys, so let me take a guess. You're enjoying the show. And if that's right, please make sure that you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast right now and tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _. I promise you this is going to help in amazing ways. And while you're at it, hit the 5-star rating and subscribe. With that being said, guys, let's get back to the show. Yeah, that's something I don't think no one's ever said on the show yet. You know what's crazy about that is you have to not only know your worth, but be willing to add tax to it.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, somebody's going to pay it. And at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? If they paid this, I'm worth this and more. I think what's crazy about the story that you said too is a lot of brands don't know people of influence. It's a very small community. They talk. So just the audacity of them doing that, I think is crazy.
And an actress, like a lot of these brands, because of the quarantine going on, they're like trying to figure out how to promote, but a commercial or print ad, I mean, commercials pay for SAG-AFTRA for a year with residuals is $40,000 to use someone's face for that long. So what they're trying to do on social media, they're trying to save money, cut corners when they have the budget. So yeah, it's crazy. And I'm definitely saying it because at first I would just take everything. I was nervous and I'm like, no, because it takes your time. And then that time takes away from other things that you can be making more or adding more value to your brand. So.
Exactly. And it's your likeness, right? It's your likeness. It's your intellectual property. It's your image. I mean, and you deserve every penny, for that and for someone to be able to run with that, for such a great long time. So thank you for just sharing that, because I know somebody right now just accepted an offer that they should probably not have taken. But by listening to this podcast, they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah. And big shout out to People Store. That's my talent representation in the Southeast region. They didn't have a digital department yet, but as quarantine happened, they really figured it out. They moved with the times, they evolved, and they've really been helping that. They're like, no, like, you know your worth, and not any disrespect, because it's oftentimes like brands from my hometown or anything. I'm not, saying I'm better than thou, but I'm talking about these bigger brands, these brands with money that you see everywhere. It's disrespectful what they offer to African Americans, female and males, compared to Caucasian influencers and actors. So
100%. I definitely agree with you there. So here's the thing, like with COVID happening and changing everything, how has COVID like impacted you and your business and what you have going forward?
I just really invested in a lot of things to have in home. So as the standard, 9 to 5, people are working from home, getting their equipment at home. I invested in higher quality equipment for myself. So even with my auditions, as we're not going into the casting offices, gosh, not at all. I haven't been one since like February. I invested in better lighting. I invested in a better camera. I took some camera courses so that I can take my own pictures and my own videos without having to depend on someone, being that, limited, and readers are the people who read the other lines on the opposite side of the camera when you're auditioning. And really, I took some photography classes online. So I really just trying to evolve, knowing that this might be our new normal for a while.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, because what you're talking about doing is really putting yourself in a situation to not depend and wait on someone else to get you where you need to be, and learn a skill, guys. You're at home right now that, like she just said, learn a skill. Is there a course you can take? Is there a class you can take? Is there equipment that you can use? So, phenomenal tips there. What's interesting, just in acting or just in media right now, is seeing how movies have now went more towards the streaming side. Coming to America 2 just did a deal with Amazon Prime. I think upwards of 150 million. I think they could have got probably 250 to be honest, but upwards of 150 million to go exclusively, and drop in December only on Amazon Prime. Where do you see that going? Do you see, movies going more towards streaming services, or do you see it being like, we're going to get back into the theaters?
It's sad because there's so many theaters shutting down, like even in my own neighborhood. And I love going to the theater as an entertainer too, just seeing it on the big screen, especially as actors, getting that moment with your premiere, you're on the red carpet. So it's just awesome that they're evolving, because they filmed Coming to America 2 a while ago. And I'm sure with the budget involved, they didn't foresee it not being a release in theaters. So I don't know what the future of theaters are going to be, because I love going to the movies. It's always been an awesome thing that I love doing with my family. And now they're like, have you heard they're renting out whole movie theaters for like $99?
Yep.
Like they're hurting from I don't know. But I mean, it's good that people are able to still get that content out there, because I am sick of watching the same things. So, I'm excited. It was something, I think, like a movie Mulan on Disney Plus, where it was like $29, and I was just, desperate to see something new. I'm like, man, whatever, $29. We all watched together. We would have paid more than that at the theater. So,
when it pops up, you're like, this out already? That's how, so I definitely understand that feeling. I always want to talk to creators like yourself and ask them, was there a moment, right, in your life that, you thought, okay, I might not have been cut out for this, right? And what was that moment? And then how did you overcome it?
I feel like that's what keeps me humble. It's oftentimes because I have a master's degree, an MBA with a concentration in marketing, and I quit an amazing job in Beverly Hills with free rent and moved to Atlanta and to save money and so that I could be a full-time creator, like full-time actress. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work for anyone again, other than if I'm working on set, for something in entertainment. And going to Atlanta, having to figure out how to earn income completely without relying on every 2-week paycheck was hard. And I almost quit. I definitely almost quit. I was like, I can't do this. This is a struggle. I'm too old to be doing this. I have too many student loans to be doing this. And the overcoming part, and I say my spirituality with it, right when I was about to take another job offer and be miserable, but at least having money, I got blessed with a role. And I was like, okay, God, I see you. Okay, keep going.
All right, that's my sign. That's my sign. I can make it through this. What were some of those things, right? If you went back and had a conversation, with that Brittany that was ready to quit, what would that conversation be like?
It would definitely be encouraging in prayer and not being too prideful to ask for help. Because, when I was in a great position, I helped a lot of others. But when it was hard, I kind of just was to myself and I didn't ask anyone. So I would go back to myself and be like, ask for help. Don't be prideful to accept help. It takes a village to raise an actor. It really does. I always give the Adam Sandler example, the people that he started out with, he still uses in all his movies. It's hard to do this by yourself. It really is. So.
Yeah, imagine just not only that, just the community he's built and the trust he's built with those people, right? I think it's like Happy Madison or something. Yeah. It's crazy. So here's the thing about help. I think a lot of people listening right now are afraid to ask people, hey, can you help me do this? Or can you help me do that? I think the coolest thing about asking for help is sometimes the people on the other side of that ask are willing to do it.
Yeah.
Right? They're willing to do it. They're willing to be there for you. I want to ask you a question that we've asked every single person that's ever hopped on this podcast at any time. And that is if you were that person who was in school right now, right? It's a completely different place. Or perhaps, let's say you even graduated, or perhaps you didn't even graduate at all. You just dropped out. Asking yourself the question of the podcast, school's over. Now what? What advice would Brittany give?
Actually, it's so awesome you say this because I went back a couple years ago and spoke to my high school, the student body in my high school. I was awarded a business, I think it was a business pathway, but it was for marketing. It wasn't for acting. And so I was kind of blessed for the opportunity, but I was like, So what I told them, everyone has their own different journey, but what I told them is don't let anybody allow your plan A to be your plan B. So if, school's over, you don't want to go to college, you want to be the best, lawnmower ever. You put everything you have into that craft. And if it's not school, if it's something else, be a professional at that. If I would do it all over again, I would have tried to go to Yale for acting. Do you know what I mean? I would have wanted to be the best. That way there's no denying your talent. It's an undeniable talent. So whatever you want to do become an expert at that. Whatever it is. And right now, the internet, people are learning how to do things without going to school. You can go on Google and YouTube. I just learned how to put on a car door on my vehicle because I didn't want to pay $500. I went on YouTube. The world is your oyster right now. So look it up, learn, perfect it, and whatever you want to do, be a professional and the best at it as you possibly can. People can't deny your talent.
Yo, that's real advice. No matter what you're doing right now, take heed of what Brittany just said. Find whatever that is for you and become not only the best at it, she said the expert at it. Figure out whether, like you said, if it's YouTube University, go there. If it's Google, go there and show up and be a professional. Brittany, I appreciate you so much for just hopping on the show today and blessing us, you know, with so many gems. People right now want to know more about you though. Like, where can they find you, and give us all your social media platforms?
Well, everything is at Brittany Mayti. I'm more so vocal on Instagram. I kind of like forgot about Facebook. I'm trying to learn TikTok, but I had to realize I am old. I just don't get it. I'm trying though. BrittanyMayti.com, and on IMDb, Brittany Mayti, but I'm more so the most vocal on Instagram.
I appreciate you. And for those who have been listening, always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it. Yo, what you think? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want to know what you learned. So if you wouldn't mind, would you take a screenshot of you listening to the podcast on your phone right now? Upload to your Instagram stories, tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _, and then let me know in that Instagram story what is one thing that you learned. I love hearing from you, my listeners, thought leaders, former or current students all around the world. Let me know. And while you're doing this, go inside the podcast app, subscribe, leave a 5-star review and a 5-star rating. Again, this helps us reach more people. And if you want to be a part of this mission, helping us change the world one person at a time, it makes a massive difference by you leaving a review. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. And remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.